So I've had a few requests for a video covering the equipment that I use to make my videos, so that's what I'm going to be filming today. I have only made videos on YouTube since June this year, so I don't have a lot of experience. So if you are just starting out or you're thinking about starting to make videos on YouTube, hopefully this video will be helpful for you. So in terms of my video process, I've covered how I film videos in a separate video. I use Notion to plan a lot of my scripts and the tasks that I go through. Normally I'll write a really detailed script and I'll either memorize the script or I'll use a teleprompter to make sure I'm hitting all the points that I want to get through. In this video, I have an idea of what I want to talk about, but I'm going to try and get better at talking out loud, better at talking in draft. Often I'll look at people who are really good at just talking on the fly and just coming up with something on the spot, and that's something that I'm wanting to get better at. My personality is more of a introspective, kind of reflective type of personality. I like to consider things and then commit to them once I have an idea in mind. And so if you're that type of personality as well, and you're wanting to see whether someone can, I guess, learn how to get better at talking in draft, talking on the fly kind of thing, watch along and see how this goes. So let's get right into it. So what I wanted to do is talk about the camera and lens that I use, lenses that I've used in the past. I wanted to talk about different tripods, lighting, and also audio equipment as well, what I use to record the sound for my videos. So you'll see in the back here, this is a delivery that I just had from Amazon. That's a new light that I'm going to be upgrading to this week. I'll go through the details regarding this light that I have over here later in the video. In terms of the camera that I'm using, I chose to use the Sony A6400, which is an APS-C camera. Part of the reasons that I chose it is because it has a flip-up screen, so I can kind of see where I am in the shot and make sure that I'm framed appropriately, and it also has really good autofocus. So one of the downsides with this camera is that it doesn't have in-body image stabilization, so any lenses that you choose to use need to have stabilization. So that brings me to the first lens that I wanted to talk about today. The lens that I started using for the majority of my videos when I first started out is just the kit lens. So this is the Sony 3.5 to 5.6, I believe. I'll just double check that. Yep, 3.5 to 5.6, 16 to 50 millimeter lens. It's the kit lens that comes with the Sony A6400. This lens has stabilization, which is key if you are shooting on the A6400, as I mentioned. So I'm currently using a different lens, which I will explain later in the video. And what I'll do now is I'll switch to this lens just so you can see a difference in terms of the image quality and the video quality that you get. Okay, so I've now just switched to the lens, the kit lens that comes with the A6400. As I mentioned, this is the 3.5 to 5.6, 16 to 50 millimeter lens. It's a great lens if you are just starting out. There's nothing wrong with using this lens. I've used it to film a lot of my earlier videos. It's really good. It works pretty well in terms of low light, but not as good as some of the other lenses, which I'll go through later. In terms of the other lens that I bought when I first got the camera, it is the Sony 1.8 35mm lens, which is this one here. So I don't use this a lot for A-roll, for talking headshots, because as you'll see shortly, it's really close in, really cropped. I do use it for B-roll. If I'm needing to film some B-roll, it's quite good for that. But predominantly I use this for taking portraits, photos of the kids, family events, that type of thing. So what I'll do now is I'll switch over to this lens so that you can see the difference, and then I'll show you the lens that I was using at the very start of the video. Okay, so this is the 1.8 35mm lens. As you can see, it's not putting me in the shot. I'm doing this deliberately so that you can see the differences. I've kept the tripod exactly where it was before, haven't moved it at all. So you can see this isn't really effective. Obviously I'd have to be further back, but then I'd lose proximity to the microphone. So if I wanted to get in the shot, I have to come down like this, which is obviously ridiculous. I'm just showing you the differences so you can see the difference between the original lens, which I was using, which was a 16mm lens, then the kit lens, which was also a 16mm lens, and then now this is a 35mm lens, so you can see the difference. So what I'll do now is I will put the original lens on, which is this lens here. It is the Sigma 1.4 16mm lens. So I'll quickly change over to that one and you'll be able to see the difference from that as well. Okay, so now I'm back to the original lens that I was using at the very start of the video. This is the Sigma 1.4 16mm lens. This is the lens that is recommended by a lot of YouTubers, well, YouTubers who use Sony cameras. It's a fantastic lens. Something to be aware of is that the lens doesn't have stabilization, so it's fine if you're going to use it on a tripod, but if you were using it on a handheld tripod like a GorillaPod, which I'll show you later, it would have a lot of shake. So what I wanted to do now is talk a little bit about the tripods that I use. I started off using this one here, which is just a really cheap Manfrotto tripod. So I'll include links in the description to all of the different products that I'm showing today in case you are interested in picking something up. I did recently just sign up for the Amazon affiliates program, and apparently I have 3 months for someone to buy something before it gets terminated. So I'm not too optimistic that people are going to buy anything, but if you do, that'd help me, and it will also help me to make more content, which is something that I'm really trying to get better at and trying to do in a way that delivers value for people, but also gives me an opportunity to learn as well. So in terms of the tripod, it's really easy to use. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it. I just thought I would show you. This is the original one that I bought, and it's what I've used for a long time up until recently. So the tripod that I'm using at the moment, the one that the camera is on now, is something that I just borrowed from a friend. I won't be going through that tripod in detail. It's not too dissimilar to the original tripod that I just showed you. It just has a bit more stability. It's a bit higher quality, and it also has the ability to put the camera over the top of things that I wanted to film as well, which gives me the ability to shoot overhead. So those are the two tripods that I use. I also recently just bought a GorillaPod 3 kilo handheld tripod-y thing, which is this here. So you can see this, you've probably seen a lot of YouTubers use these. You can bend things around, attach it to different things, and it's just great in terms of filming vlog style. So if you ever wanted to have your camera out in front of you, you can use this just to hold it as well. So those are the tripods that I use, and also that GorillaPod thing. So what I wanted to do as well is talk a little bit about lighting. So when I originally started filming my videos, I realized that I was going to need some form of artificial light. Currently, I am shooting in the daytime. I've got a window next to me and also some glass behind me as well, so lots of nice natural light is coming in. But if you're anything like me and you work full-time and you have kids, and this is a bit of a part-time thing that you do for fun, shooting at night means that I needed an artificial light. I first started filming my videos in my bedroom, where I just had downlights over the top and used this light here, which is the Aputure AL-F7. So it does come with a battery pack, but I haven't bought a battery for it yet. Normally I'll just connect the cable into an iPhone charger and then power it that way. So I'll show you how it works. If I just switch it on here, you'll see there's different options in terms of kelvins and percentages. So if I just change that around, that changes the kelvins, which without going into a lot of technical detail, because I don't really know a lot of technical detail, it just changes the warmth and coolness of the light. And then you can also change the percentages in terms of brightness. So normally, when I first started out, I just had the downlights from my bedroom over the top, and then I would have this light on a light stand just to give me some more lighting and to remove some shadows. So this light here, pretty easy to use, as I said, gives you some customization, as you can see there. So after using that Aputure light for a little while, I decided to upgrade to some different lights. I bought this light here. It came in a set of 2, but it only came with 1 bulb, which is great. That's what you get for cheap and cheerful stuff. So this light, it has a remote that you can use to control it. This is the remote here. It does not give you, so I'll just bring that into focus. It doesn't give you a lot of options. So you can turn it on, you can change the brightness or the type of light that you're getting, and also control the brightness. It doesn't offer you a lot of customization, and they're pretty cheap. And so every time I turn it on, I have to kind of say a prayer to the YouTube gods that it's going to work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Thankfully for this video, it has been working. What I really wanted to do in terms of my videos is get better at being more consistent in terms of the videos that I'm making and the production quality, and that's why I've upgraded to a different light, which is in the box behind me, which I'm just going to spend some time unboxing now, and then I'll get it set up and talk to you about that light now. So as you may have seen, the light that I've chosen to upgrade to is the Aputure 120D Mark II. It's taken a little bit longer than I expected to get set up, and I'm still figuring out how to use it. I've literally just opened it now, and I'm not sure if it's operator error or maybe the part that they've given me is a little bit faulty because can't quite get it to stand up and lock into place. But I'll have a play around with that later, and then maybe once I've got the hang of it, I'll put together a more detailed video if that's something you'd be interested in. So the reason that I upgraded to this light is because it is recommended by lots of YouTubers out there. This is the light that they recommend. It really gives you that nice soft look in terms of lighting. It gives you the ability to control things in a lot more detail. So the previous lights that I was showing you, quite cheap, not a lot of opportunity to change things around and control the variables. But this one here, you can really fine tune and dial in your lighting. So I'm hoping this light will help me. As I mentioned earlier, I film a lot at night, and so this will give me the ability to have a consistent look each time that I'm filming. I'll be able to just make sure that I record the settings and use the same settings each time to get a consistent look and feel. So in terms of audio, when I first started filming my videos, I was using this microphone here, which is the Rode VideoMicro. It's one of the cheaper Rode microphones that you can get out there. It's really good, really effective, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this microphone, I think, if you're first starting out. But later I decided to upgrade to the Rode that's gonna sound pretty bad. So later I decided to upgrade to this microphone here, which is the Rode Video Pro Plus microphone. It just gives you a few more options, and generally what I'll do is I'll have it on a microphone stand, as you've seen there, and I'll just have it directly above my head, but slightly out of frame. So I'll just put this back up now. In terms of how I get the audio into my videos, what I'll do is I record onto the Zoom H5, as you can see here. So I'll record the audio separately, and then later in post in Final Cut Pro, I'll just sync the audio and the video together. So that's been a really quick overview of my equipment. As I mentioned, I'll include links in the description if you would like to have a look at what I've been using. I'm really trying to get better at being comfortable in front of the camera. It's something that comes with time and with putting in the reps, as they call it, putting in 100 dodgy videos. This is probably an example of one of those, but I'm still trying to do it in a way where I provide value to whoever is watching this video. So on one hand, this has been a little bit of an indulgent video on my part. I'm trying to work on my skills and being better and more comfortable in front of the camera, but I still want it to be something that will help you. So I'm really hoping that this video has been helpful for you and it's given you an understanding of different equipment that you can use to make YouTube videos. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in the next video.